Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna Griffith. I am the Director of Special Events and Affiliate Groups, and currently the manager of our Charity Entrant program this year. And we are so excited to have you all join us tonight. We wanted to connect and give a few fundraising tips, some creative ideas, take some questions, work with you on setting up your fundraising page. We have a great team here. I'm so proud to be part of the Achilles community for so many years. Just a quick background. I joined Achilles as a volunteer in 2004. I ran the New York City Marathon as a charity entrant with my USO troop in 2005. And it was glorious. It was the most celebrated day of my life, next to giving birth to my daughter and getting married, of course. And I've been with Achilles ever since. I believe in this mission wholeheartedly, and I'm so grateful for all that you have done to join our team and choose Achilles as your charity of choice to support as you go on this marathon journey. So what I'd like to do first is also introduce my other colleagues that are on the call today that are here to assist. First, I'd like to welcome Ryan Quick, who is the Director of Communications and Development at Achilles. Ryan, so glad to have you tonight.
Thanks, Jenna. Hey, everyone. As Jenna said, I do development and communications at Achilles. I've been with Achilles for about 1.5 years. So I started in the pandemic, which was a strange time to start, but luckily I'd been a volunteer for a number of years. I've run 3 New York marathons and 1 Boston as an Achilles guide. And this year is the first year I'm an Achilles charity entrant as well. So I'll be running the Chicago Marathon in October, raising money for Achilles. So just want to thank all of you for joining Team Achilles and helping us raise funds. It's a really important program for us. It brings in a lot of revenue. But I think more than the money, it's also, you guys are really ambassadors for us, spreading the word about the important work that we do to your network. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for doing that. And we're here to support you. Jenna, Margaret, who you'll meet, Gayatri, myself, we're here to help you meet your fundraising goals. So if there's anything we can do to support you in doing that, please let us know. So good to meet all of you. Good to be here tonight.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll be cheering for you in Chicago as well. And he's also guided several of our athletes. I'm not sure if he mentioned that. Next, I'd like to introduce Karen Lewis, our director of our Achilles Kids program and also our technical director tonight. Karen is no stranger to marathons, and she's our longest running Achilles employee. We love her dearly. Karen, say a quick hello.
Hello. Yes, as Jenna said, I am the longest running. I had the great good fortune to walk through the door on April 17th, 1995 and started the kids program. And it's been my joy and my passion ever since. Yes, I have done a few marathons in addition to doing 8 in New York. Since last April, I've been running marathons on my own. And this past weekend, I did my 53rd marathon since last April. And I'm going to culminate my marathon journey with Chicago and New York City this fall as a charity entrant. And I'm just not the director of the kids program, but I'm also an Achilles athlete. I have a disability. I have MS. I walk on crutches. And so I know personally, as well as professionally, the impact all your support has on our programs. And for that, I am so grateful. So thank you all for everything that you're doing to help us serve the kids and adults that we work with. And with that, I am sending it back to you, Jenna.
Oh, thank you, Karen. She's very humble. What she didn't mention, she's already raised $10,000 separately for her marathon journey in Chicago and New York. Way to go, Karen. We're so lucky to have you on the team. Can't wait to cheer you on as well with these upcoming races. Next, we have Margaret DeJesus, who is our Director of Communications and Digital Marketing. Margaret, welcome.
Thank you so much. And just to echo what everyone else has said, I'm really inspired by each of you and that, you've chosen Achilles as your charity to fundraise for. I too, started running over a decade ago as a charity runner. So I know how challenging it is, but also just how inspiring it is to rally, your community behind you and for selecting a cause. So just wanted to say thank you and look forward to getting to know each of you and just sharing some tips with you tonight that hopefully, as Ryan said, we can help support you on this.
Thank you, Margaret. And now our newest member of Achilles and our youngest too, just celebrated her birthday in her early 20s. I may add, Gayatri Telecat, who is our development and communications coordinator. Gayatri, we're so excited to have you join our team and be part of this tonight. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Jenna. Yeah, I just joined Achilles about a month ago, and it's so great. I love the organization. And yeah, like everyone said, I just want to thank you all for choosing Achilles and all of your hard work that you've put into fundraising so far. And I recognize some of your names from speaking with you these past couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you again, and I'm excited to work with you.
Excellent. So I thought maybe now, I think we have time to do some introductions of our charity entrants. I thought maybe we can go around quickly. You can introduce yourself, where you're from, what race you're participating in, and what brought you to Achilles. So I will start and pick a name out of a hat. Fred Chang. Well, now we know your name, so you don't have to say your name. Fred, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Fred. I'm with the Achilles Washington, D.C. chapter. How I got associated with Achilles was basically I work at USDA, Department of Agriculture, and we have a little running club. And someone just shot an email and said, "Hey, we need some guides to help out with the one of the best races, maybe second to New York, the Cherry Blossom Race in D.C." And ever since about 5 years ago, I've been running with Achilles, and it's a great experience just to keep me honest and keep me moving and keep me active, because Achilles, they really do inspire me to, with their challenges, it's like there's no excuse for us, to not to help and stuff. So, and for New York, I'm running the New York City Marathon, and it's one of my bucket lists. So I'm trying to do 50 states and 50 marathons, so almost halfway there. But hopefully, I'm thank Achilles to be part of this journey.
Thank you, Fred. We're so happy that you're joining the team. Tell our friends in DC we say hello too. All right, next up, Devin O'Connor. Welcome, my friend.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So Devin O'Connor. I'm based in New York and run with the New York City chapter on Saturday mornings. I will be running the New York City Marathon. I'm not guiding, I'm just obviously running and fundraising. I've run it a few times, so I'm excited to be back this year, raising for Achilles. And I think that's everything I was supposed to say, but hopefully we'll get to guide somebody in a future race.
Excellent. Thanks, Devin. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Ian Norman.
Let me unmute. Hey, everyone. Name's Ian. Actually, I'm fortunate. My money's been raised. I was part of the group last year. And as a result, I ran the virtual New York Marathon November 1st in my neighborhood with my wife cheering me on. So I'm here to just support the group and support Achilles. I actually ran with Achilles, I think back in 2007. So I had probably a 13-year span, and then I ran with Achilles again as a charity runner raising funds. And I actually work with our local employee abilities group, and I've been helping out a guy who had an accident, broke his neck up in Wisconsin, and helping him kind of go through a job search, finish an MBA. And I was able to connect him with the Wisconsin Achilles chapter and was able to get him a hand cycle through the Achilles Wisconsin chapter. So nice to be able to introduce him to Achilles as well from the able athlete side. And so I'll be running both Chicago and New York, although I'm running New York through Achilles. if you guys can hook me up to the tent in Chicago, I'll be there. I'll be happy to represent Achilles there as well.
Excellent, Ian. Did you say you're in Vienna?
No. I never said where I'm from. I actually live in
Oh,
suburbs.
sorry, I lost you. You say Michigan?
I live in the Chicago
Oh,
suburbs.
Chicago. I'm way off. First Vienna, then
All good.
Michigan, Chicago suburbs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Not
Woo.
this week.
Wow. Well, we have a lot of ambitious folks doing the double. Awesome. Well, and also it's great to have Ian here because he can give us some pro tips, right? He already raised his money. So we're going to stay on, Ian, because we want to hear how you did this. Thank you. And congratulations on meeting your goal already. All right, Mariana, welcome aboard.
Hola, I'm Mariana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to get to do the New York Marathon this year through Achilles. I last ran it in 2017 and ran it with my mother. So it's exciting to be back. And I knew that the next one that I would do, I wanted to do through a foundation that spoke to me and was important to me. In one of my last jobs I got to work with a lot of Paralympic athletes. So I was very inspired and got put in touch with the Achilles Foundation. And then I recently joined the Peloton team. And so we were connecting with several athletes and adaptive sports. And because I'm in Central Park every single day, either doing yoga or running, on Saturdays, I saw the Achilles members running and I wanted to be a part of it. So it felt like the perfect fit. And so I've never done any fundraising. I'm excited to learn how to, and especially for a foundation that is so important to me. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We're happy to dig in with you, Mariana. Welcome. Mr. Noah, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. I'm Noah. I'm based out of San Francisco, joining for, hopefully if everything goes well, the Berlin Marathon in the fall. And I'm with Achilles because it felt like a really good fit to be able to run and raise money to also help other people run. So it just felt like a good theme. Yeah.
Excellent, Noah. We'll be cheering for you with the Berlin team. Congratulations and welcome aboard. Okay, next up, Dustin. Oh, Dustin, so happy you're joining us. Dustin, this will be his first time as an Achilles charity entrant. And just a little background, Dustin, you said I can, mention this, but you may recognize him. He was one of the bachelors on The Bachelorette season
15.
Season 15.
Season 15.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Dustin. I'm based out of here in New York. I'll be running the New York Marathon and also Chicago Marathon this year. But I am running the New York Marathon with Achilles. I had a friend refer it to me, and I loved everything about it. Everything it stood for. So super excited, and yeah, happy to be a part of the team.
Awesome. I just want to plug also, he has an amazing startup called Guaranteed Karma that matches volunteers with different charities, and we hope to connect with him more about that. But Dustin, welcome aboard. We're so happy to have you join us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Danielle, how are we doing?
Hi, how are you? Danielle Padovano. I am based in New York. I have been with the Achilles organization for the last 3 months, running also Saturdays and Tuesdays in Central Park. So I look forward to meeting those who are in the New York area on a run sometime soon. I found out about Achilles through the marathon. I ran it in 2018. So I'm excited to do it again, and this time raising funds for an awesome organization. I've met really incredible people. So excited to connect with you all and learn some more about fundraising.
Excellent. Hi, Tessa. Welcome to the team. How are you doing?
Hi, I am good. I joined Achilles in 2020. It was a COVID decision. I was never a runner before, but I found the community of folks to be really inspiring, and the running gave me some structure to my schedule where there weren't boundaries of work and life. So I raised funds for the 2020 marathon. I'll be running this fall instead in New York City. Since that time, I've actually relocated to Chicago for grad school. So I'll be rooting on a bunch of classmates for the Chicago Marathon, and I'm keeping my eyes peeled for Achilles people here so that I can connect in a new geography. So nice to meet you all.
Well, that's great. You'll be in Chicago as well. I'm wishing you best as you start your schooling journey there too.
Thank you.
Okay, Arnold. How are you doing, Arnold?
Good. Yourself? I'm actually want to learn how to function. I'm work well, so I'm going to join the farm team next year. So this year, I'm actually for the New York Marathon. I'll be cheering Achilles as well. First time signing up for race this year, so that's
Sorry, Arnold, you're going in and out. I'm having trouble hearing you. All right, we'll get back to him.
Yeah. Arnold, you may need to log out and log back in. I think you're frozen. That should fix it.
Okay, if he said he was doing New York City, I need to make sure he's on my list because he's not on my list now. So this is why we do this. We get new people to join, and this is exciting. So Arnold, I was saying that let's touch base after, because I want to make sure you're on my New York City Marathon list, because right now I don't have you on the list. But the deadline is, we still have a few more weeks. So I'm glad you joined us today and that you're interested in learning about fundraising and being part of the team. So thank you. All right, we have one of our treasured Achilles board members who is also a charity entrant, Mr. John Kelly. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, hey, thanks, Gina. I got involved with Achilles a number of years ago when I saw Dick Traum on 60 Minutes, and we invited him to speak at one of our events. And afterwards, I don't know, sometime Dick kept following up, and he got me to commit to giving some money, but most importantly, to run a marathon. And I kept putting it off. And finally, this year, my 10-year-old son shamed me into running. And he said, Daddy, you got to think of it like you're 26.2, not that it's 26.2 miles. So when he said that, I thought, daggone it, Gina, I'll go ahead and run this thing. So you'll have to thank my son in doing it. But I will say, I've loved participating, training and everything Gina's been doing. So I take my hat off to all of you all the folks at Achilles. I'm just amazed at how much you all do. So thank you very much for everything you do and how hard you all work.
Well, we truly appreciate your longtime dedication and support as well. And we're excited you're part of this team. Okay, I feel like I got everyone. I know that things are kind of shifting with my screen. It's like a puzzle, but I guess shout out now if I missed introducing you. All right, we're good. Okay, I think we're gonna dig in. Are we all ready? I'm gonna turn over the mic to Margaret now. And here are some really great tips to get you going.
Awesome. And, thank you each so much for sharing a little bit of background about, each of your reasons behind why you selected Achilles to fundraise for. I think the number one key to success that, you'll hear each of us stress throughout this presentation is really making that personal connection and sharing your story and, taking your family, your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers on that journey with you and helping them to understand, why you decided to take on the incredible feat of doing a marathon, 26.2 miles, and also, why you were connected to our mission specifically. And each of you shared really lovely reasons, even just in your introductions, whether it's seeing Achilles athletes in Central Park and, being a guide and being part of those workouts, or maybe it's, this is your first time doing a marathon and you want to give back and you want others to feel that magic of a start line or a finish line that you feel. So I think, one of the most key ways as a starting point is just keeping it simple and, really uncovering what's your why and sharing that why with your family and your friends. And it could be as simple as starting small. Maybe it's you want to send a quick email to everyone in your network, just letting them know, hey, I decided to run the Chicago Marathon for Achilles. Here's why their mission resonates with me. And you can use some statistics, you can pull some stories from our social media pages, or if you have a personal experience of working with athletes or people living with a disability. For me, as an example, when I found running as a charity runner. I was never a runner prior, and just seeing the debilitating impacts of Parkinson's disease on my family, that's what inspired me to want to fundraise and run for a cause, and just what led me even on this career path in general, like wanting to give back to nonprofits and help raise awareness. So keep it simple, and really tell your story. That would be critical, step number one is just uncover your why. Another key tip too that I think is would be really helpful, especially for those just starting out, is finding ways to put your passion to work for the cause. Maybe you're an instructor, you're a yoga instructor, and you want to host a yoga class as a fundraiser. Sorry, Ryan, do you mind going to the next slide? Thank you. Yeah, so if you're a yoga instructor and maybe you want to do a class for your family and friends as a fundraiser, or maybe it's back to school season and you want to do a cupcake bake sale for some of the families in your community just to help raise funds for Achilles. So there's different ways that you can leverage some of your own passions in everyday life to, because we want this to feel not overwhelming too. And I think there's other just simple things, like maybe if you're, I know some friends who are making masks, right? Like sewing or painting, or, things that you're personally passionate about that others might want to engage with, and, to connect with them at the community level and whatnot as well. Like if there's a favorite restaurant or things like that. So I think that's another key tip. How can you put your skills, your creativity, and your passion to work to help in your fundraising. And then, the other thing we want to recognize here and acknowledge, obviously this past year has been unlike any other, right? And, it can feel awkward, and it could feel, maybe this is new, to you, maybe this is the first time that you're fundraising and asking folks to support you. And I think the key thing to remember there is when you make that ask, you're asking to support a mission and a cause. So each dollar raised, no matter how big or small, it's making an impact and touching so many lives, whether it be, a child, like helping them find that social connection, make friends, come out to a workout for the first time, or, veterans, like have some through our Achilles Freedom Team program, right down to, adults, and just connecting for the first time. And maybe they're able to cross a marathon finish line, and achieve something new that they never even had dreamed about before, and just finding that, connection, and seeing the impact of just, the activity together, and being able to do that together, especially after the pandemic. So I think just, always remembering that when you're making that ask, it's really to support the cause, and it has an impact. So if there's ever ways that we can support you, whether it be through pictures or social or different types of stories, or just showing the impact of each donation. As Ryan said, we're all here to help. And you might be surprised too, that the people that it will resonate with when you reach out to them. I can even remember an example when I posted a story about my grandmother who lived with Parkinson's, and why it was so important for me to run, in her honor. And someone who I hadn't heard from since I was in college with them, that really touched them. And then they ended up, wanting to support that effort. So I think the more personal that you get, and the more that you share, going back to, telling that story, you'll be really surprised at the people who want to support and to help.
Wait, Margaret, I have to address that photo real quick.
Yes,
you have to hear this. This was at
I
an open
agree.
possibility race. This is one of our Achilles kids. He is amazing. His name's Diego. And this is Cedric on the left. He's one of our wounded veteran athletes. You can't tell, but he lost both legs serving in Iraq. And they've met each other through various events. And this is Diego spotting Cedric, after the race. And he's celebrity status to him, gave him the biggest hug. What you didn't see is right behind Diego to the right is Jon Stewart, right? So here's Diego running up to Cedric, not even noticing it's Jon Stewart who's there. And John's like, wait, what? Hello, I'm here too. And it was such a beautiful moment because Diego, the celebrity, was Cedric. That's who he admires and looked up to. And it was a really beautiful moment to witness. And this is, part of the magic of Achilles. We hope you'll all join us. By the way, we do this race in Central Park every year. We just had it in July. It's very special to us. But I just wanted to address it, that this was, when we hear a picture tells us that, it's 1,000 words. Here is a beautiful photo that just, I'll never forget that moment. Thank you, Margaret. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
No, please. No, I'm glad that you did, because it was special to be standing on the other side of that too. And just to see that was a beautiful moment. Yeah, no, and another thing too that, is critical to stress, especially now in this new, work from home era, and everyone, gets caught up, and people are going to be excited for you, and they are going to want to support you on this journey. It's all in the follow-up. So I think, if you start small, let's say you send out an email to your family and friends, maybe each week, you send a quick follow-up note after a training run, and you take a quick selfie and you say, hey, just did my first 20-mile long run today, like super excited, and then reshare, why you're doing this, why you're out there in the rain or the 90-degree weather, or, what's sort of pushing you forward. And it can literally be as simple as a selfie on your long run, or maybe you're at an Achilles workout and you're teamed up with an athlete. Whatever it is, I think keeping your family, your friends, your coworkers engaged, again, telling that story, why you're doing this, getting them excited about it, because then they'll be excited with you and they'll want to support. So regularly following up is key. I think posting on social media as well would be great. I think the more you tag us or use #GoAchilles, our team wants to support and wants to reshare, repost, because then the whole community gets excited about it when they see someone else, who's running a marathon for Achilles to help support, our athletes. They get excited. So that, that's important to keep in mind as well. And there's other ways to utilize social media and have fun. There's the serious, where you can share statistics, how your donation makes an impact, but you can also get silly and have fun, because your family and friends best and what's going to get them excited. So maybe it's even saying, hey guys, the first 5 people that donate $50 before end of day, I'm gonna, sing your favorite song on my next long run. Or maybe it's auctioning off, you'll Sharpie on your jersey on race day, their name in a special spot, depending on how much they donate. Or maybe it's a little competition, amongst folks to see, whoever gives the most on this day, just to amp up urgency on social. Sometimes that helps as well. Or if you have someone in your network who wants to match donations on a specific day, you could post on your Instagram and say, for every donation that that I received today for my Achilles page, so-and-so has agreed to match it. Will you help me get closer to my goal? That sort of thing. So there's different ways to keep that urgency and the drumbeat going on your social. Another way to help with that, kind of tying everything together, is to create a personalized fundraising page via Classy. I know many of you on this call have already done that, or you've already, hit your fundraising goal, which is great. And we'd love to open the floor up to you guys as well, especially you, Ian, just to kind of hear what was working for you, what challenges that you faced, and sort of how you connected with your network. But I think, having that Classy fundraising page lets you put some pictures, lets you put some quotes. Obviously you can keep in sort of the pre-formatted structure that we have in there about Achilles. But the more personal you can get, the more success that you're going to see, and the more people will feel connected and want to support you. And I also want to, pass the mic to Gayatri, who can kind of share some tips, in leveraging Classy to your advantage, and just, ways that you might be able to help troubleshoot there and how to set one up.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret. Those were some great ideas and fundraising tips. I do know a lot of you already created your Classy pages, so I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough on how to set it up and personalize it a little bit. And just keep in mind that Classy is our recommended fundraising platform, but you're more than welcome to use any fundraising platform, whether it be Facebook or if you're hosting an offline event, just communicate with our team, which you'll be using. So in order to create your Classy page, you're going to follow the link to the specific marathon you're running. We've hyperlinked New York and Chicago on this slide here. And then you're just going to go ahead and click Become a Fundraiser. And this is where it'll prompt you to log in or create an account and just ask you for some basic details about your campaign, where you'll set a fundraising goal and create a headline for your campaign. We recommend mentioning your name so that those you send your page to are able to identify it as yours. We also recommend adding a profile picture of you maybe during a race or a run, something that's special to you. And once that's done, your campaign is live on our Classy, and you can actually click on Manage and just edit your campaign a little more and personalize it a bit. Under the Manage tab, there's a Story tab where you can write a little blurb about why you're running this year and why you chose Achilles or why the mission spoke to you. And you can also click on Email and personalize the email template that goes out once you share your campaign, so your friends and family are more likely to click on the link. And of course, once that's all set up, you can click on the social media icons on the top right-hand corner and share your page to Twitter, Instagram, and email it to your contact list. Basically, the bottom line is, as Margaret was talking about in her presentation, is just to personalize your page and have it reflect you and why you're running with Achilles. So, yeah.
Great. And the only other thing too I would add there is you'll see on Classy as well, it helps to break down different examples of the type of impact that a donation can have. So if you're sending an email to your family and friends, or you're posting on social media, sometimes having those in your back pocket can help as well, where you could say, a $25 gift is going to help visually impaired and blind runners be able to come to a workout for the first time and be teamed up with a new teammate or a new friend to kind of help guide them through the park. And, a $100 donation could help fund a new hand cyclist to join our program for the first time. So keep that in mind as well, to, depending on who you're talking to and who you're sharing, your page with, or how you want to promote. But sometimes that helps too. Like if you give folks tangible examples of the type of impact they can have depending on their gift and what they're able to provide. Because again, each donation makes an impact, no matter how big or no matter how small, and it all adds up. So sometimes those, a large number of $25 donations can really add up, especially if, you get 25 of your Facebook friends to donate $25. Look at how many athletes you've impacted there already, of all ages. So just wanted to add that there as well. And, now we just want to make sure this is a dialogue and dynamic and, how we can best support. So, would like to open up the floor and see if folks have questions, any challenges that you're facing or how we can help support, or any tips as well, things that have been working for you as you started this. So I guess feel free if you'd like to enter them in the chat, because I know we have some folks on the phone, or if you'd like to come off mute and ask questions, we're here to help.
If you want, Margaret, I can make a few comments. This is Ian, about my experiences last year.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah, and it sounds like the two of us, I think it was Teresa potentially also who raised money. I'm trying to remember her name, and she can comment as well. One of my concerns last year was based on COVID. There was a lot of need last year, and I was struggling about, when do I raise money? How do I present this? Do I feel right asking my friends and colleagues to donate to this cause when there's other very viable causes out there? And I had to come to terms with that. But once I did, because I recognized that the athletes that Achilles support are also struggling with COVID. They also need their opportunities to, help their mental health, to be able to achieve what they want to achieve in life and to have that self-confidence. And that helped me to realize that, look, it's not a demand that your friends or family contribute. It's giving them a reason why they might choose Achilles as one of the places that they do contribute. And so once I came around to that, then we kind of moved forward. I love what Margaret said about find your why, tell your story. I ran for Achilles back in 2007, 2008. My cousin broke his neck. I ended up spending 13 months in the hospital back when we were both college age, and he ended up passing away. And so my name was almost going to be Stephen. He was born 2 months before me. My name was Ian. So I ran then, and Stephen's name was Steve on my chest. And then fast forward to do the marathon, I got with Achilles, and I found a guy named Zach. And if any of you would like, I'd be happy to share with you my fundraising letter and the efforts I went to see my motivation and how I communicated it. But basically, Zach gave me permission to use his story, and I ran for Zach, and I ran the virtual marathon with the name Zach on my chest. And I plan to run New York on November 7th with Zach on my chest as well, in the spirit of Zach, because he's not able to do it. And so that moved people. Some tips I heard last year, which I thought were very good, is once you build your Classy page, we used GoFundMe last year, is start with people you know are going to donate. Go to your guaranteed donors first. Get some money in the till, because once they see an amount of money in there, other people are more likely to contribute. So show that it's a winning proposition, and then from that, reach out to family and friends. That's kind of who, hate to say it, but kind of feel a bit more of an obligation to contribute because you're doing something good, but then realize what you can do with regard to colleagues. For me, I'm a director in the company I work with, so HR would not allow me to send an email to my team members because of the undue influence that I have on them. But I did get permission to send it out to athletes and to runners as part of a running community. And I think that's an avenue when you think about your friends, who are those who are athletically minded, who probably are runners or whatever sport they is, because they identify with what we're trying to do. And keep adding people to your list, that you think of, make notes of them. And active communication was key. They made a comment about $25. Only 120 people donated $25 will get you to $3,000. And so say thank you for every single dollar that you receive, because it helps to get you to your goal. I'm not sure what your goal is this year. For last year, it was 3,000 with the desire for 5,000. So that's how I did the math to get there. And if it was $25, that was great. And then find stories. I mean, I've run New York Marathon now, I think 7 or 8 times if I count the virtual. And every marathon I've run, I've always passed backwards Bill on the marathon course. And I ran the virtual Boston Marathon on my treadmill. And lo and behold, I passed backwards Bill again on the virtual marathon. But start to identify with the Achilles athletes, because once you talk to people and you tell them stories of the people that you're supporting, stories work and stories get people's emotions going. And that works out well. And so just thank people, go back to people multiple times. I was surprised at who did contribute. And I have to say, I was also surprised at some people who did not contribute. But our role as fundraisers is not to pass judgment. Our role is to provide an opportunity for people to feel a calling to give to such a good cause that we're all aligned here to support. So those are my thoughts.
My goodness, Ian,
Phenomenal.
thank you so much for being here tonight. And I do, for you and Tessa, if you don't mind sending me a copy and emailing it to us, and then can we share it with the whole charity team? Are you okay with that? We'd love to send those samples out to everyone. That's really great. It's such an important tip. It is hard to do the ask, but I think Ian would agree that once you start doing it, it gets kind of addictive and fun and a little bit competitive too. I mean, you can make it a game of who's going to give what, and then families in between get competitive. So it is a process, but appreciate all the effort that you went through to reach your goal. It was really, really impressive. And I'm just so grateful that you joined us tonight, Ian. Thank you so much. And Tessa too. Tessa, do you want to add anything else too, as someone who has gone through this? Any other things?
I think Ian had incredible stories. I would say also like personalizing the message. Like I had and I'll share the email that I sent out to like coworkers and former colleagues that said like, you know, Tessa Newland's officially running a marathon, which I mean, anyone who knows me before that, I took spin classes and yoga, and I think in the previous year I had gone on 4 runs total. And so to say that I was training for something as big as that was, well, huge for me because I've never like in person run a race. But I also knew that like one of my old bosses had run with Achilles before. So on the back of my email, within an hour, he replied all saying like, I wholeheartedly support this cause. Here's a photo of me and a blind runner from, 10 years ago, helping him in Boston. This is such a great cause. And he challenged other people to go dollar for dollar. And then there were other people at work just because I think they kind of like the competitive feel of it. One other person, as an example, said, for all of your training runs that are like more than X distance, if you do it under like a 12-minute mile or a 10-minute mile, I will donate an additional like $10.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure.
I know. Well, yeah. But then when you look at your splits and you realize like this is doable, but I also want to, I don't want to take my whole morning running either. Which I thought at first it was a little bit too big of a challenge, but it's one of those things as a runner that it's like kind of keeping you forward. And then the other point, I guess, for my message to like family and people from home, they knew that I had worked as a teacher's assistant at an autistic learning center. So I added a photo of me when I was in high school with these children who had various disabilities. And I added something to the effect of like, it's come full circle. Like every single dollar that you put towards this helps athletes every day. And I think Margaret and Ian both mentioned this, like just, people like hearing and seeing the tangible, like, goal for what the nonprofit is. Cause otherwise it does feel kind of selfish to say like, I'm running and give me money. But I felt like those were kind of the most important things for me to get that momentum, get the money through the door, and kind of have people compete with each other, but personalizing the touch. If it's my boss versus my grandmother, it's obviously a very different message. So it was my first time doing it, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So I think, I'm happy to share my message with you, Jenna, and then if that's helpful for anyone going forward, just excited to reconnect. I feel like I lost a little bit of momentum with Achilles throughout COVID and coming over here, but yeah, to the extent it's helpful for others, I'm here to help.
Awesome, Tessa. We're just so glad you're part of the team. Appreciate you and Ian sharing these tips. There's a couple questions here. I just wanted to go into the chat. Fred asked, if someone asks how much to donate, what is the answer? That's a really good question. You know what? Margaret, do you want to take this one?
I'll say something.
Or Ryan, okay.
It is a great question. I think the best way to approach that, Fred, is to maybe give people kind of a menu of what $100 will get, what $50 will get, and what $25 will get. Emphasize that gifts of any amount help get you to your goal, but kind of show on your Classy fundraising page, you'll see at the bottom, it's got a list of what a $500 gift can do, what a $100 gift will do, and give people kind of like a menu of options to make it a little more tangible. I think that's a good way to approach that. I also want to say, Ian, you were saying something that that reminded me of a lot of companies have matching gift programs too. So that's something to look into. That maybe it's something you can apply to and get funds from your company. And it's not asking your coworkers for money. Those programs are designed to support employees' charitable interests. So that's something worth looking into as well.
If I can add one comment to Fred. See, Fred, one benefit of starting with those that will donate, who are closer to the cause, is they tend to go in at a higher dollar amount. And I'm not sure how the Classy website works, but for us, they could see what the other donation amounts were. And so I saw a bit of a group think starting to form, whereby initially I thought it'd be more 25s, but it kind of evolved more to a 50 donation when people saw people they recognized giving 50. So that's one of the benefits of starting with people that you know will give and give a higher amount, is it can help to provide that level of kind of like indirect incentive.
And then also there you can do kind of a cute thing on the numbers here, right? So this is the 50th running of the New York City Marathon. So you can use that number, the number 26, right? 26.3, right?
0.2.
0.2. Oh my goodness. Why am I blanking on this? See, I ran the marathon in 2005. 26.2, you know, $26.20 or $26. You know, you can have a challenge with that. How many people are going to give me $26? How many people are going to give me 50, 100? That's a really great question. I'm going to go to Mariana now. First of all, there are no dumb questions here. Please get that out of your mind. Nothing is a dumb question. This is a non-judgment zone. We're happy that you can answer and ask us any question here. The question is there a specific link where people donate? Do we have a profile through a page with Achilles? Do we raise it on our own and submit? Mariana, I assume you did. So the Classy page, we can set up a time with you to set up your Classy page. We did like a high level overview of that today. If you haven't set it up, please email us and we can step-by-step walk you through it. That is our page of choice. We find it user-friendly and helpful to you that you can share with your community. But if you haven't done that yet, please email me after this event. I can leave my email here, and me or one of my colleagues will get back to you and connect and get you started. Thank you, Tessa. Thank you. Yes, please email us the letter. We're so excited to share that out. Arnold, 42K. Tell me what that means.
That's equivalent. That's for the when he says the 30.1, 30.2. That's in kilometers. That's for the conversion. Like
okay.
Miles, even because everyone know the math. I'm just giving him now.
All right. I was like, did you raise 42K already? That's
no.
You're embarrassing us over here. No. Okay, great. Any other questions or comments, concerns? Now's a great time. We're here to answer anything that you might have. Even if it's not fundraising related, just being part of the team that you want to ask about.
Is there a deadline that we have? Is it the start or is it prior to the start? I didn't know if there was a date.
So you're for New York City Marathon, correct? New York City Marathon, we did ask on the contract, it says October 15th is the deadline. So we're going to ask that you do everything you can to meet that fundraising goal by that deadline. Now, if it doesn't happen, please reach out to us and we can work with you to possibly give an extension to make sure that you do meet that goal.
Question. So for like, I was thinking, some of the PTAs and some of the schools, my daughter, my kids, we did fundraising via auctions, silent auctions, stuff like that, right? Has anyone tried that? I'm just thinking, because I'm thinking more of a physical, because I need a place, people walk into the cafeteria, they look at it, they bid for it, right? But now, since we're in a virtual, any recommendation? Do I post it on eBay? Hey, here's my auction item. This is for, Achilles. I mean, is there any ideas of how to approach that? Because I have a lot of stuff in the house, I guess my wife wants to get rid of and stuff like that, and say donate it, or fundraise it.
Auctions are tricky. They take a lot of work, but something that people have done before is you could do a tag sale and say all proceeds go to Achilles. So, and you can collaborate with other people in the neighborhood that may want to give away some of their belongings, and you promote it that way to the community. We're doing a tag sale. Come on in. All the money raised goes to Achilles. That is something that's simple. As far as, I worked for my daughter's PTA and PTO as well. And we've done auctions for Achilles events. It is a lot of work securing the items, and the time versus the reward unless you have so many contacts that can provide and donate these in-kind, baskets or whatever, entertainment or food gift cards, then you're going to spend a lot of your time trying to secure that than raising the fund. So I would say, a tag sale, collaborating that way, is something that doesn't take up too much time and kind of kills two birds with one stone. Any other Achilles colleagues have any thoughts on that?
No, I would just quickly add to that. I really did like your idea, Fred. If you were looking for a digital component, if folks aren't comfortable, perhaps gathering in person, you could do something like an eBay where, if you collect those funds and then donate back to Achilles, like if you needed that digital option, I actually think that's a really smart idea, because then if you have items in your home and you want to put them up, and then you could, send that link around and say, hey, I'm, have this item up on eBay, all funds raised are going to go back to Achilles, the highest bidder, you're helping to support this mission. If there are understandably concerns about sort of that in-person component. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add. And then, sorry, Ryan, go ahead. Didn't mean to.
I was just gonna say, we had someone, a charity bib runner last year, who went door to door and in her neighborhood and asked for gifts, and she sent us a big stack of cash, and that that works too. I mean, it's a much more grassroots approach, but I guess you don't need to be limited to the Classy page, or it's kind of whatever works. Some people have set up Facebook fundraisers. If you've got a big network on Facebook, that would work too. We can add offline gifts to your Classy page. So let's say you raise $500, $1,000 on Facebook. You can just let us know that, and then we can add that to your Classy page so it's reflected in your fundraising progress.
Yeah, and if I can add, there was a guy last year named Kai, and he was a personal trainer, and so some of you have got special gifts, so you might be running virtual classes, and so he arranged a few personal training classes that said, the fee to participate in the class is going to go to the Achilles fundraiser that I'm doing.
I love that.
It was services in kind that it became a donation, and so other options like that.
I should also mention that if you are using, if you are sending cash or sending a check, to just make sure it's clearly marked when it's sent to the Achilles office that it's coming from you. We want to make sure, sometimes we get checks in the mail and we don't know what it's for. And it's really important as we're tracking, and we want to be able to add it to your Classy page so we can get the total amount, that it's marked clearly that it's for, Ian's fundraising effort for the New York City Marathon. So that's just another tip to make sure that it's all clear and that we're on the same page when we get donations outside of these online platforms.
Can you explain the relationship for Facebook? Because I'm not the Facebook social media public type of, I kind of keep it private, with whether it's my friends from college or maybe some co-workers. But what's the relationship on that? I guess if I saw some kind of link, right? I have a Facebook account, right? Do I just click on that and then my Classy page pops up my Facebook thread feed, or how? I was just wondering if anyone could demonstrate, how it looks like, and then do I, can I write in my story, hey, guess what? Here's my auction item number one, a signed book or autographed book, whatever kind of thing. Can I do that? And then they could donate into my Classy page. And I don't know. I'm just trying to, piece together, all this different technologies and platforms, I guess.
No, totally. No, so two separate things. So option one is you could post your Classy page link on your Facebook, and you can share that with your network. You could tell your story. You can, however you would like to do the post, so that, you can simply just take that link and then share it as a post. What Ryan was referring to is on the Achilles International Facebook, you could also set up what's called a Facebook fundraiser. It's a little bit more complicated. You don't have to do this. It's more, what each person prefers or where they know that their network is. Like if you find that most of your family and friends, if they're not as active on Facebook, it might not even make sense to do that. But that's sort of where you would set up a fundraiser via the Facebook app, and then it donates to Achilles. So it's more like a donate button, you know, so to speak. Whereas if you use Classy, you can really personalize that. You can customize it. It'll have your pictures. It'll have, you know, your quotes and your stories. And that's more of, you know, you're just dropping that link in there. But we're, you know, and if you have follow-up questions on that, as Jenna said, like our team is happy to you know, to walk you through that, you know, the differences and whatnot, you know, and what makes the most sense there.
Yeah, I might have to call you on the offer.
Yeah, of course, 100%. We're happy to help.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. If, you know, if you're not an avid Facebook user and you don't have, you know, an active Facebook account, the best thing really is to, when your Classy page is set up, is using that link and sharing it through emails.
Yeah.
Emailing your network. That's a really great way. You know, for people who have active social media networks, then it's powerful to use it through those platforms. But you have to find, and like you know, Margaret said, personalize it and what works for you, of how to attract those donors. How are you going to get in touch with the people that you know will donate, your friends and family first, and then you expand from there.
Another thing too, to just quickly add to something Ian had said earlier, when thinking about social media, it doesn't solely need to be used for constantly asking for donations. If one of your friends makes a gift to your page, you could use your social media as a way to say, thanks so much, Jenna, you know, really appreciate your donation for helping to support at Achilles International. And then it gives you another subtle way, right, of sharing your Classy page, but then your whole network sees that now Jenna supported my page. What did Jenna support? Let me click this, you know, and then your network, it keeps the drumbeat going. And it's also fun for your donors too, because then they get, you know, a nod, and you could snap a quick picture and say, oh, thank you so much, you know, for teaming up with me for this cause. So that's just another way to think about utilizing social media. It can be for thank yous as well, as you keep resharing that link.
Good. If I can add one more thing that's just came to mind too. We all want to go through the process of expediency, but you're asking people for money, you know, and so one of the important tips are, when you send the emails out, personalize it to each person. It will take more emails from you, but if I get an email, hey, Ian, would you consider, versus I'm doing a fundraiser for, and then they question how many other people received the same email. And so whatever you can do to personalize each touch point with the person will significantly enhance the likelihood that they will donate.
That's a really good tip.
Put them on the spot, basically. You put their name on the spot. There's can't hide between the email blasts. It's a direct, or a text too. That's good too. You text the link. Hey, Johnny, I'm doing this. I need your support. Can you give 25 bucks? Can you give 50? Can you give what you can for this? Texting is a really great opportunity too, where you can highlight the Classy page, and it can be in your text messages. All right. I think, does anybody else have any, you know, additional questions before we wrap?
Here, since I'm part of the team next year, this year, where can I get a guide for the New York City Marathon? Because I already signed up as a guide. I'm in as an athlete.
You know what, Arnold? I will email you. There is protocol on how to get a guide. If you're close with Michael Anderson, he'll be the best person to reach out to, but I can give him a heads up to coordinate with you if you're looking for a guide for this year's marathon.
Okay, perfect. All right, appreciate it.
Great.
All right.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you all joining us again. Our virtual offices are always open. We're here to help. We'll probably touch base and maybe do one more virtual event before you cross that finish line. And certainly in between, we'll continue sending along any type of information that might help you. So wishing you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep up the training. No injuries, please. We're here for you, and wishing you a really great evening. And thank you, Team Achilles team that's joined us today. And please know how much we appreciate your support in choosing Achilles.
Great.
Good night. Go Achilles.
Go Achilles.